gang of singer-songwriters that I was hanging out with and a part of, this community in Hollywood. We would go to each other's concerts, support each other before and after the show. Before the show, we'd all hang out on the sidewalk together and just celebrate each other's presence. Then we'd all go into the show together. We'd laugh and scream and shout and clap and have a great time and dance and celebrate whosever performance it was. Then after the show, we'd come back out on the sidewalk and hang out again. This one after party, the spontaneous street party on the sidewalk, for some reason, something pulled me back into the club. The club was empty. This was some group from England who had booked a show here, but they were playing to an empty room, and they were good. They were very good. And I got sucked into their music, and the next thing I know, here was this one girl, this woman from our gang of our crew of singer-songwriters from our community, and she starts dancing by herself in the middle of the dance floor, and she took on these grand lines. I had always admired her, and we'd hung out a little bit. I didn't know her that well, but I had never seen her like this. I'd never seen her dancing before. And she would do these dramatic exits and entrances between songs. There was something universal about her. She became this universal dancer. There was a flair. There was a power. She created a cabaret. When they'd finish a song, then she'd sort of exit backstage, and then they'd start another song, and she wouldn't appear right away. I'd think, oh, maybe she left. She's gone. Well, I'm still enjoying the music, so I was just hanging out sort of in the back of the room. And the room was dark. But then in the middle of the song, this dramatic entrance as she's dancing her way back from the backstage area, and she was dancing in this goddess. She became this goddess. These grand lines that Campbell describes. She was transparent to transcendence. She was still this individual who I had known all these months, but she transported me, she pulled me into her cabaret with the power of her performance, with the power of her dance. The dancer is one of these universal archetypes that's imbued with this source, supernatural power. She was transparent to transcendence. She transported me. She promoted me. She pulled me into this cabaret, out of the ordinary into the extraordinary, in this back room. And all of our friends were still out on the sidewalk doing it. And all of a sudden, this all seemed very mundane to me, what they were doing out there. They were just hanging out with the same people, talking about the same stuff we always talk about. And I'm not putting it down. It's fun to have a community of friends, but in this back room where none of them knew what was going on in here is the point. I had stumbled into a cabaret through the power of her performance, through the power of these grand lines, through the power of her passionate guzzling. The more she guzzled, the more she expanded herself, and the more she took on this character that's an ancient character, the dancer, the goddess. And finally, I couldn't resist it, and it was irresistible. Finally, I started dancing with her. I threw off my jacket and engaged with her. I didn't knock. I didn't ask for permission. I just did the natural thing. She was being a natural woman. It was only natural that I be a natural man and start dancing with her. And in dancing with her, I became a part of these grand lines of nature. I became the partner of the goddess, the partner of this universal dancer.